Cheryl Atkinson today at 2:30 on MyTV Baltimore.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily represent the views of MyTV Baltimore.
Hi, welcome to Straight Talk. I want to welcome all of our new cities and all of our new viewers to Straight Talk, where we always try to give you good information about topics that are important to all of us, especially our families. And today on Straight Talk, we got a very important topic. I mean, each year in the United States, 2,000 college students will die because of alcohol. Over 500,000 will be involved in some kind of sexual assault, and over 1 million will be arrested. On top of that, over 50% of college freshman failures is because of drinking. Drinking on our college campuses is a true epidemic. Tens of thousands of young people are involved in drinking, whether it's during the week, weekends, partying, but it's a big problem on our college campus. Today on Straight Talk, we're going to focus on college drinking with someone that knows it better than anybody, and it's Josh. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Josh is a recovering alcoholic who's been brave enough to come on, tell his story so that other people will begin to maybe listen and not have to go through what he went through and maybe learn a little bit about their own life. So thanks for being with us the whole show. This is your story, your show, to get the message out to other young people about drinking. So you've been sober.
My sobriety date is January 30th, 2015.
So 18 months.
Going on 18 months, yes.
To be going on. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's very important. So you got to the 18 month, but it was a journey. So let's kind of start at your journey, maybe from high school on to when you started really getting involved with drinking.
Right. So in high school, I had always been in and out of a bunch of different crowds. That was where it started. I was always one of those guys that wanted to be liked by everybody. I was an athlete, but at the same time, I wanted to be smart. I was bullied as a kid, so people who didn't get the attention as much as the athletic kids, I wanted to be beneficial to them. I wanted to give them something. Didn't seem like they really had it as good, I guess you could put it. That was the way I used to think then. Getting into, leading up into that point, I took my first drink at 16 years of age.
Which is actually kind of late for a lot of teens.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying 16, that they take it at like 12, 13, 14.
Definitely.
And
so you were what, a junior?
I was a junior.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was a junior. It was during the summer, in between sophomore to junior year. And it brings me back to that moment when I always think of that question, and it was when I was going through step work. I had asked my sponsor, how do I really know if I'm an alcoholic? He said, well, think about the time that alcohol did something for you. And I just remember being in the back seat of my, at the time, best friend's car, and he had previously went to a party. I had pulled some of the bottles out of the back seat of his vehicle that he had taken with him from the party, stole them, and he was like, yeah, you drink this stuff and it makes you real loopy and giddy, and let's see what happens. And I remember taking that drink, I put it in me, and it was like the very first time I could breathe. I just remember I didn't care about anything, didn't have to care about what I said, how I'd act. It just became a huge relief to not have like any worry in the world.
This is your first drink.
Well, it wasn't my first drink. I had taken sips of like beer as a kid. I think sometimes like, you hear a lot of stories where like a parent will like, yay, take a sip, and then you hate it. I wasn't really into that as a kid. I was like that. I didn't like that first sip. But this was like some fruity.
This is like your real drink.
This is like one of those syrupy mixer drinks.
Yeah.
syrupy mixed drink that you put in a cocktail.
But how did it make you feel? So you felt good?
Yeah, I put it, when I put it in me, like I felt this like warm, sensational feeling that, like I could breathe. That was how I felt.
Yeah. For
once in my life, I felt like I could just get along and not have a care. And it just changed. My energy shifted. I didn't know when the next time I was gonna drink was gonna be, but I couldn't wait to do it again. It was how I felt. And once I got it at that point to make a decision to go to college, it was very, how do you say, stressful. I didn't know what I was gonna choose upon getting to college. I didn't even know if I was gonna get into college. I was wrestling at the time. My aspirations were to be a Division I athlete. When I left to go off to college, I got a taste of the party life when I was going to University of Delaware. And yeah, that was it. I just hit the ground running.
So you went from high school, just kind of drinking a little bit here and there.
It was spotty.
You went to college where it changed everything.
It changed everything. College was like 30 minutes down the road. And the best part was that I could go to even back to community college and be a part of just be enrolled in community college, because that was closer to home, right? No matter what, I would go out on campus and I would do my thing and then just drive home. Like, I didn't really care. Once I put one in me, you couldn't stop me.
But Delaware was the school you went to where you really started to...
That was where a lot of my behavior was getting out of hand, right? You're at a point in time in college where people say it's okay to be selfish and self-centered. Like, these are the selfish years of your life, your early 20s. But there is an extent where selfishness hurts others. And it's usually the ones who are closest to you, the ones who love you and are looking out for you. I can tell you this, if you were to still go back to that campus, you'd see a bunch of 18, 19, 20-year-old students somehow, you don't know how, walking around with 30-pack cases of Budweiser or Keystone, or I don't know if they could afford Budweiser, but like Natural Light or one of them, or pop-up vodka, which is nasty, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, same today as it was when you were there.
The mentality you get as an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It gets the job done. You're not drinking it because you enjoy it. You're drinking it because it does something.
But this got you to your college. We're going to take a little short break, but this got you to college, and then things really took off. So when and we're going to get into that when we come back. But
we'll get into where I moved home.
This is important. I want everyone to understand how this starts. He didn't drink much in high school, but he got to college, and that party thing started to happen. And that's what I want to focus on. So, Josh, thanks again for being here.
Absolutely.
This is so important. And we're going to take a little break. We're going to come back. We're going to keep talking to Josh about his life that led to alcohol abuse, alcoholism, and his 18 months recovery right now. So stay with us. Really, stay with us. We're coming right back to Straight Talk.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. find fun activities to do, like boating and biking, or camping and hiking, plus much more. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org. Don't allow your weight to threaten your health or control your future. Excess weight or obesity can cause emotional and physical health risks. But you can take control. The Your Weight Matters campaign offers free resources and tips to help you measure and understand your weight. Take the Your Weight Matters Challenge. The free toolkit prepares you to speak with a healthcare provider about your weight. Your weight does matter. Take the challenge and take control today.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about college drinking, the epidemic that's affecting all of our kids, regardless of which school you go to. It doesn't discriminate and causing enormous problems. And joining us is Josh, who is a recovering alcoholic, who's been gracious enough to come here and share his story to help others. And I really do appreciate it again. It's very,
like I said, it's my
good thing to
pleasure,
do
Mike.
and a very brave thing to do. Now, we've got you to college, you know, and I think that's the part that parents don't quite understand. You know, that I don't care what school you go to, it's party time in college.
It is.
Was it overwhelming when you got to college? Was it like, wow, everybody's drinking?
It was overwhelming to know that I could probably do anything I wanted, you know, with liberty.
Yeah.
That was the thing, the freedom. I was away for a minute, but just to provide some clarity, I never fully committed to University of Delaware. I was there to party. I wasn't there to learn.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right now. My butt ended up back up at Cecil Community College. That was where I ended back up. And then I remember while I was there, that's where things really started progressing. I started hanging out with the other athletes. It was also a mix of a wrong crowd. We were also getting involved in other things. By the age of 19, I started smoking some pot here and there, but that was never really it. I never really caught on that. It never really hopped on that train. But at that point in time, that was when I got my first DUI. It took a while before I got my first DUI. I got my first DUI after a month I turned 21, October 8th. I'll never forget that date. It was at 4:55 in the morning. I don't even know how drunk I was until the breathalyzer read 0.15.
That's pretty drunk.
It's double.
That's pretty drunk.
It's double, I think. I didn't feel that drunk, not at the time. My tolerance was sky high at that point.
But now you've been drinking. I mean, if you're talking at 21, you've been going pretty good for a while.
My career kicked off at probably around 18, and then I have a late birthday. So September of my senior year, September senior year, I turned 18 of high school. And then into college, I was turning 19. So because I had that late birthday, that contributed to why it was kind of late.
You were on a pretty good roll, though. So
yeah, between 18 and 24.
So you get a DWI at 21, and you're really probably an alcoholic already, without knowing it. Because you didn't
with
bother.
hindsight being 20/20 today, indefinitely.
Yeah.
Indefinitely.
So you get a DWI. What's that do to you?
It sends you to jail for the first couple hours, right? If you're lucky, you have a friend bail you out, and your parents don't know till the next day, because then you got 5-6 tickets laying in your car, in your lap, and you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this. I can barely afford my 30-pack. So, you know, that's something that you just it's a gut shot, right? But what I know now that I didn't know then was I rationalized that pretty quick. This just happens. And what's interesting was that my parents actually rationalized it too. He's young. He's only 21.
Yeah.
Like, it just happens.
This is what you do at 21.
This is what happens. At 21, man, I guess police are really cracking down on it.
Yeah.
And I went through probation. I went through all the court stuff. I was at an outpatient facility. I completed everything. And I had my length of sobriety then. But as soon as it was all said, done, and over with, is when I got right back to drinking again. And that was where things really started spiraling, because it was a 3-year, it was like a 2.5, 3-year period that into 2014, the morning after, on my second DUI, I blew a .17 the morning after at 10:30 in the morning on my drive home.
Right.
So you're telling me that tolerance didn't play a factor there?
Sure. Sure. So now you got your second DUI.
It's my second DUI.
Okay.
In three years.
Now, did they do anything different to you for your second one, or you?
Oh yeah, I served time in jail.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I got in Harford County, and that is.
So a judge sent you to jail for your second DWI.
Oh, there was no leniency.
Yeah. Okay.
There was no leniency.
Yeah.
It was from Maryland State Police. I got into an accident. I made a poor decision by trying to go around a dump truck, and the 2-lane quickly turned into a 1-lane, and I tried to speed up, and it was either jerk my vehicle to the left or drift off to the right.
Yeah. I mean,
right? But what I'm saying is that on the morning after, the sum of that story is that there's still that period of poor judgment, that influence,
right.
and the ability to affect my decision making that alcohol does. I was so negligent and caught up in my own ways. I needed to get to where I needed to be, regardless of how I felt the next morning.
But drinking
I was on my
just,
way to work.
Drinking is just what you did. It was just part of your life.
It was just a routine.
Yeah, it was just part of
I was going to go
did.
out no matter what I had to do the next morning.
Yeah.
If
So
I
you had
was
your
hung,
second DWI.
if I was hungover at 8 a.m. and working, getting stuff done, in my mind at that time, I was a champ.
Any more DWIs?
I got lucky on the third one, actually.
You got a third one.
I did. I got a third one. Now, the third one, it was like a slingshot effect. I just remember I had just gotten out of jail. I was doing weekends, just to clarify. I wasn't doing straight time. But on that third DUI, it was just once that I had gotten out of jail, I hit the ground running again. Because all I wanted to do, I was obsessed at that point. All I wanted to do was drink and drink and drink. And at this point, I was thinking, you know what, if I just drink at home, like, who cares? Like, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm just gonna be drunk. And then loneliness kicked in, because now I'm not drinking with anyone, and it just caused a lot of problems. Now I was drinking at home, and now I was drunk.
Did you have to get lawyers for any of these DWIs?
Every one of them.
Every one of them. So that costs a little bit of money too, right?
It increased as each one.
Each one, yeah, a little more severe.
Got more and more.
A little more severe.
Yeah.
So now you got yourself up to a point now where you're just kind of going strong. You know, I want to get into, we're going to take another break, but you're reaching a point now where something's going to happen, and I want to talk about what you did for yourself afterwards. But I also want to just focus a little more on that college atmosphere that you were talking about. So again, we're talking with Josh. He's a recovering alcoholic. He's on here to help get the message out, not just to young people going to college, but to the parents who are sending their kids to college so they understand what's going on in the world of college drinking. So Josh, thanks again. Thanks for one more segment, okay?
Absolutely.
Thanks. When we come back to Straight Talk, we're going to keep talking to Josh about college drinking. Please stay with us. We're coming right back.
Spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Hi, welcome back to Straight Talk. We're talking about a very serious issue of college drinking. I can't tell you, more kids will die from college drinking than anything else that they'll do in college. 2,000 will die, and over 1 million will be in some kind of legal trouble. Helping us understand the problem of college drinking is Josh, who is a recovering alcoholic, willing to tell his story, telling us about what goes on in college, as well as his own struggles with alcohol and eventually his recovery. Josh, thanks for staying with us and getting the word out on this issue. I mean, I don't think parents really understand, you know. I think you said it in the second segment where you said parents think, well, it's what kids do, you know. You're 21, it's what everyone does
these days. Yeah.
But it's a lot worse on those campuses than parents believe, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, if you took somebody who was as reckless as I was, multiply that by 8,000.
You get a campus.
Mean, you get a campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. No, absolutely.
You know,
it's
just worse than I think parents understand, that pressure.
It is.
Of what's going on to drink at those campuses.
It is, because the first thing you get introduced to at college, for me, it was freedom. I could do whatever I wanted. Here I am, 18, you know, single guy, doing whatever. It didn't matter. Right. I was on top of the world because
nobody tells you when to come home.
Nobody tells you when to come
right.
home. Nobody's telling you what to do. You have nobody to answer to, right? And you have college funding. It's college fund accounts now that kids use, and that's an opportunity. Let loose money that you can get your hands on and.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
throw
crazy.
A weekend.
Let's get a little bit into what got you into treatment, because I want to focus before we run. I don't want to run out of time because you put so much work into yourself and your recovery. I want to make sure you get a chance to.
So that'll bring us back to the third DUI that I was speaking about.
I mean,
earlier.
what actually led you to say, you know what, it's time I get some serious help?
It was waking up in jail after a blackout of drinking. I was in Anne Arundel County, and it was not. I just remember waking up, and I remember being at that point where, like, how did it come to this again? How in the world? I was baffled. I was beaten, I was broken. I had to pick up the phone and call my parents who were on vacation, tell them, hey, your son's in jail again. And you just don't think that alcohol can cause that kind of problem.
Right.
It's socially acceptable, and that alcohol has.
But it took all that time to kind of break you, mentally, physically. And so what did you do? I mean, how did you know where to go or what to do?
I just remember picking up the phone. I had to call somebody. I remember calling my mom and dad while they were in South Carolina, and they were on vacation, and I just remember saying, look, I can't do this anymore.
I need help.
I need help. Yeah. And I got released that day. And what the most troubling thing was that when I got home, I continued a bender.
Yeah.
I stayed at home. I picked up, on the way home, I picked up what I wanted, and it was it. And I just remember drinking in my feelings, trying to numb off whatever I could.
So what got you?
And then,
what got you?
it just stopped.
But what made
the alcohol stopped working, Mike? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
I could not drink enough. It was at a point where I coughed up blood, and I thought to myself, like, I took one good look in the mirror.
So you called
and
him.
I believe that was my God moment. No, this was after I called my mom and dad.
No, man, I'm talking about treatment, because I want to make sure you talk about your
this was
recovery.
getting into Father Martin. I admitted myself to Father Martin Ashley.
Okay,
with the
so
help
you
of
went
my
to
parents
Ashley.
after this.
So you went to Father Martin's Ashley in Maryland.
Yes, in Haverty Group.
And that's residential. That's a long-term.
Yes, it's a residency it's a residency 28-day treatment program. It's actually now Ashley treatment.
Okay.
But
and that took a lot of courage.
Yeah.
I mean, you were desperate, but it's still.
I was beaten and broken, man.
So you went into Ashley and.
I did my 28 days, and I went in with the most open mind that I could, because upon that moment of clarity, that God moment that I call it, so to speak, I had never felt so much fear and relief all at the same moment. I was so confused. I wanted to quit drinking, but I sure as hell had no idea how to do it.
Right.
No idea. And that was just, it was terrifying. I had no idea how I was going to continue life. I mean, it says that in our literature.
Yeah.
When we put down a drink, we're left to the vices of our own. And it's...
And if someone out there is watching, a parent or someone who's drinking, and reaches that point, what are you telling them?
I'm telling them to pick up the phone and just ask for help.
Yeah.
That's that is your moment. Take advantage of that. Don't be afraid. Don't be ashamed to have to ask that. Right? At that point in time, I had a big ego, but it gets beaten and broken because at that point, you're losing your freedom. I was losing my freedom. I was losing my opportunities. I wanted to be successful. If I kept drinking, it was going to cut off every amount of success that I had ever hoped it for. I mean, that was it. That was the line that I was tight-roping from the two towers.
Yeah. So treatment works.
Treatment works.
If you put yourself, it seemed like you're at that place.
You got to bite your lip and take the direction.
And
you got to bite your lip and take the direction. Right? A lot of people say that they're too smart for it, but it's a we-focused program. Our first step says we admitted that we were powerless.
And now you're clean. 18 months.
18 months.
You're doing well.
Yes, sir.
Helping others. You know.
That's the root.
And that's what it's about.
That's the root of the program. The root of the program is helping others. Keeping a conscious contact with a higher power and helping others.
All right, well, can't ask any more than that.
My experience is what's going to help the next guy.
You're beautiful, man. Awesome. Really, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is great. It was great. Today on Straight Talk, we're talking with Josh, recovering alcoholic, trying to raise awareness about the problem of teenage drinking and college drinking. So if your parents out there and your kids are in college, find out what's going on. Most likely there's a lot of drinking at whatever school they're at, and we need to be involved. We need to get them help. I want to thank Josh again. Thank you for watching Straight Talk, and we will see you next time.
We're in too deep.
How did you realize he was not the person who murdered your mom?
A pathetic human being out there somewhere that has no regard for human life.
How did you conceivably sleep at night?
Next to your murdered children.
In a deep freezer.
I slept well.
Crime Watch Daily, weekdays at 1 on MyTV Baltimore.
This season, you're invited to the biggest party in television history.
Welcome to our 25th year.
It will be wilder.
This nasty slut.
It will be sexier. It will be epic. All season long.
Weekdays at 4 on MyTV Baltimore.
The Bullet Club is back on top to kick off 2017, but they are not without their enemies. Jay Lethal and Bobby Fish join forces to take on the regime. Plus, Dalton Castle leads his boys into a